Today I will have my whole family come over to my house. Last year my daughter Betsy wanted a DNA kit, so we bought her an Ancestry DNA kit, and she shared to us about where she came from, and we all decided that we wanted it. So I got the rest of the kids one for Christmas this year, I got one for me, and now today we are going to reveal where we're from. I gave everyone a blank blackboard like this and some chalk, and I asked everyone to design a picture, some type of a graphic that represented where they came from. And this is what I came up with as far as my graphic. I came from the United Kingdom area, Scotland, Ireland, so that's what I've got. I've got the picture here of that, 93% from the United Kingdom and Scotland, and then 7% Scotland and Ireland. And so this is where my family came from. So everyone was asked to create a dish from a country that represents where they came from. And so today I am going to make shepherd's pie. I know this is one recipe the kids will like, and it's one that represents the area well, Ireland and the United Kingdom. And so that's what I'm going to make. First thing I'm going to do is get the potatoes boiling. I peeled the potatoes. I'm just going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut it in half again. Like this. And now I'm just going to cube it. I'll boil the water, and I'll cook it for about 15 minutes once the water starts to boil. I'm going to cover it so it'll cook faster. And while it's cooking, I'm going to work on some other parts of the meal. I cooked the potatoes for 15 minutes. I set the timer. I tested them. They're already cooked. They're ready to blend up and make mashed potatoes. To do that, I'm going to add a few things to it. First thing I'm going to add will be a half a stick of butter. Then I'll be using some whipping cream, a half a cup. I went to the chicken house today and I got some eggs. I'm using 2 eggs, just the yolks. I used the whites and made me an omelet this morning. I've got a half a teaspoon of salt. And I have a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Now I'm going to use the electric hand mixer to mix it together. I'm browning the hamburger. I have 2 pounds of hamburger in this big pot, and I'm cooking it and I'm chopping it, so it'll be fine. I have 2 pie plates. This one is one that the kids love. It's got a snow scene on it. And then I have this one right here, which came from a North Carolina pottery. Turn and Burn Pottery, Seagrove, North Carolina. So I found this at a yard sale for 50 cents. I used a prepared pie crust. So this is what I use, just a great value from Walmart. It makes it easy. You need to get the dough at room temperature, and then it folds out like this. And you just press it into the plate. You may have to stretch it just a little bit. So you put it down, press it in, and then go ahead and do the edges here. Now I'm going to put this in the oven at 400 for 10 minutes. I'm going to poke some holes in the bottom so the air can get out. You won't have a big bubble in the middle of it. And I'm going to bake it because I like the bottom of the crust. So I like this to be dried out a little bit because what I'm putting into it, the mixture, is moist and the crust will be better if I cook it just a little bit before we get started. The hamburger is chopped up fine. I've drained the oil and now I'm heating it again. And I'm going to put some thyme I picked, and I'm going to be taking it out, so I'm just leaving the stems on, some rosemary, and about 4 bay leaves. And I'm mixing it in here. Now I'm going to put the onions, got some carrots. I'm going to cook these until the onions are translucent. Now I'll add a few more ingredients. I have a can of beef broth, You can use beef stock too. I just have this on the shelf. And I've got a can of tomato paste. So I'm gonna put some tomato paste in here. That will thicken it up a bit. And I have about 1/4 of a cup of Worcestershire sauce. I'll let this continue cooking for about 10 minutes. Okay, this pie I just took out of the oven. It will be hard in about 5 minutes. And after that, I can put the meat mixture in it and the potatoes on top. And now, I waited a while because I didn't want to overcook the garlic. I'm gonna put the garlic in. And right now, it's the consistency of Sloppy Joe's. I am very particular about my peas. I don't like them mushy. I like them straight off the vine in the backyard, but I don't have them this time of year, so I've got some frozen peas. And so on purpose, I left them frozen, and I waited to the last minute, and I'm gonna put them in here. And then I'm gonna fold them in to the mixture, and so they won't be cooked to death because they'll be too smushy. Now it's time to fill the pies. I've got the pie shells here, and I'm gonna divide everything between 2 of these. I've adjusted the recipe a little bit. It's very important to taste what you cook, and I had to add a little bit more salt, and I put some pepper in, but it's just perfect now. I took the herbs out. These are herbs that were placed in there. There's nothing wrong with not having them in there when people eat it. It's fine to put sprigs in and pull the sprigs back out again, but the flavors are there. Very good. This is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It's a nice mixture. And so I'm just going to take, let me get a spoon. I think the spoon probably, a slotted spoon would be better. So let me get a slotted spoon. And I will take a spoonful and put it in this pie shell. I put a spoonful in this one. And I'll go back and forth between the two until all the mixture is in the pies. And now I'm going to scoop the potato mixture on them. Now this has Parmesan cheese in it. I'm going to add some more to the top, and that's what will make the really pretty brown on the top as it bakes. Wow, isn't that pretty? I'll cook it on 400 for about 20 minutes until it's hot and bubbly and brown on the top. Okay, and now to put some Parmesan cheese on here. I love Parmesan cheese. I love any kind of cheese.
Okay, so here I am in IKEA, and when I decided to contribute something Swedish to our family meal, I thought, you know what, those Swedish meatballs at IKEA are amazing. So I am here and I'm gonna pick the Swedish meatballs up and I'm gonna throw them in my crock pot tomorrow and heat them up. They're fully cooked already and prepared and delicious, and that is going to be my contribution. I'm pressing the easy button, y'all. I have 4 kids, 2 dogs, and one of those dogs is a puppy. Need I say more? I'm excited to see what the family's gonna think of these yummy meatballs and my Swedish heritage. Okay, so before I leave IKEA, I'm gonna grab some lingonberry jam. Here's my lingonberry jam. Lingonberries grow in the forest of Sweden. So I'm going to add that to our meal in some way, shape, or form before tomorrow.
All right, so since I am part Irish, I found that one of the traditional Irish recipes is a Irish Colcannon, it's called. And it's actually a potato-based recipe. Very, very delicious from what I'm reading. I've never had it before. It looks delicious, and so we're gonna get started with that. I've got some cabbage that I've chopped up here, half a head of cabbage. I've got some, I don't even know how you pronounce it, russet potatoes that I need to peel.
We got some water getting ready to boil here in our pot to put the cabbage in, right?
That's right. Okay, so we have all the potatoes peeled. The cabbage is set and over to the side. As you can see here, the potatoes are cooking. Here are 6 russet potatoes. So while they are cooking, we're making this sauce here, which is essentially half a cup of green onions, some salt, pepper, and a cup of milk. So we're gonna bring that to a boil and then let it simmer a moment. There's our cooked cabbage that we'll be adding and mixing in after the potatoes are cooked and mashed.
I don't want to give away our secrets, but these are 2 of the things that we cooked for today's event.
Got au gratin potatoes, and then lasagna.
Okay, it says it all right here. Right here, you can look at it. I am 93% Wales, London, Scotland, or the United Kingdom. I've got a flannel shirt on. The reason I do is because flannel came from Wales. And so that I'm symbolizing something that came from Wales. Okay?
Not the other one.
I'm also 7%, a very small amount, in Ireland or Irish and Scottish. And so I'm on those 2 for the rest of me. So my whole 100% is in this one little area right here. And one thing that they cook and they like here in Scotland and in London and Wales, it's called shepherd's pie. And I didn't make shepherd's pie because I've never eaten lamb. But if you use other meats, it's called cottage pie. And so that's what I made, cottage pie. A lot of times they don't put a crust on the bottom, but Scotland used to put crust on the top instead of potatoes on it. And so I went ahead and put the crust on the bottom. So it's got a meat mixture in the middle and mashed potatoes on top. And it looks good. I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how it
Does
is.
it have cheese on the top?
Yes, it's Parmesan cheese. So, and that's what turns the color it is.
Do they typically use Parmesan
They do.
cheese?
They
Really?
do.
Okay.
Some recipes have cheddar cheese.
Okay.
So I don't know the real way of doing it, but my research says probably the Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
And they also do a few other things. I would have put some corn in it, mushrooms, but all they put are peas. And I like my peas to be not too mushy, and so I put them in frozen at the last minute. So hopefully they're going to taste good.
So what is in the pie?
It's going to be hamburger meat,
Okay.
And it's got garlic, it's got onions,
And peas.
Okay. That's about it. It's
Okay.
not a whole lot. So we'll see what it looks like. I don't know what it's going to look like.
Thank you.
It's going to be good here.
I've known my Ancestry for a little bit longer than everybody else here. Mom actually gave this to me as a gift last Christmas. It was hers and Daddy's together, very last gift to me for Christmas, and it was so incredibly meaningful. I was so thankful for that, and it was a complete and total surprise. Mom knew that I was interested in Ancestry, and then she had the idea. She always gave the best presents, the most thoughtful presents.
You couldn't have had a bad present, could you?
No, I couldn't. She was wonderful. So it took me a while to actually get my DNA tested. It was June when I actually sent it off. So I found out over the summer, and these are my results. I am very similar to Stephen actually in the breakup of it. I'm 82% England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, and that's what's up here with the teacup and the rain. I've always loved rain, so finding this out, I thought that is because of my heritage that I didn't even know about. Also, it says Earl of Dorset up here, and Mom's maiden name is Dorset, and I had heard her talk about the Earl of Dorset, but turns out it really is true that our ancestry goes back to royalty in the Dorset, England, which is now on my bucket list to go and visit because our family actually lived there. So then I'm 15% Scottish and Irish, and this is a picture of a loch, which is like a lake in Scotland, and then the clover in Ireland. 3% Swedish, and that's where the Vikings come in, and 1% Jewish. So what I decided to do for today's meal is focus on the 3% Swedish, because I think that is unique among everyone, from everyone else here. And so what I brought to the meal is Swedish meatballs and also lingonberry sauce, which you can eat alongside your Swedish meatballs. Lingonberries are grown, yes, that's that. Lingonberries are grown in the forest of Sweden, and so they're unique to Sweden. And Swedish meatballs are a common food that people in Sweden eat and enjoy. So that's me.
So, most of this is probably not surprising, and it's probably like all of you, mostly. Except for one thing, and I think it will stick out here when you see it. Do you see it?
I see a turkey leg.
A turkey leg, and it says Turkish.
Wow, you're Turkish?
I do it all year.
Oh my God!
So only 1% though. Only 1%.
Wow, 1% Turkish.
Yeah.
I need to Google where Turkey is.
I just kind of drew a face type thing with glasses. So England, Wales is 80% of me. England, Wales, and northwestern Europe actually, but mostly England and Wales, I think. And then Irish and Scottish is 17%. German is 2%, and then Turkish is 1%.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Got a mixture. Awesome.
And your drawing is really cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
It's like your eyesight is
Kind of scary.
You do eat a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
I love. That's true.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is called Irish Colcannon. And it's a traditional Irish and Scottish dish. There's even a song about it, I hear. The main two ingredients are mashed potatoes and cabbage, which are typically flavored with butter, milk, and mild seasonings, which is what I've done here. And other popular additions include green onion and crumpled bacon, which I've also added.
We like that.
Yes.
And what about here? This is interesting.
And this is Scottish salmon. So in kind of my research about good Scottish foods, salmon actually came up to be one of the most popular areas to get salmon is Scotland, because of the fresh waters around Scotland. The salmon is just really, really good. And so we've got some smoked salmon here, very smoked as you'll see. But we put it more of an in an, how do you say it? Hors d'oeuvre format here, which Betsy, what's underneath the salmon?
Yeah, underneath the salmon is a cream cheese that we added some ranch powder mix to, just any type of ranch base. You can mix with your cream cheese. And we put the cream cheese dollop on top of a rosemary wafer cracker to make a nice little hors d'oeuvre.
Very excited about my results because I thought that I was primarily going to, well, basically only be from Europe. And well, I guess I am from Europe. Okay, sorry, I thought I was only going to be like English or British or something like that. So I am 79% British, so from England, Wales, and northwestern Europe. But I'm actually 9% German. Ooh. So I thought that was really neat. And an interesting fact, like Betsy has Swedish, but Dad and I don't. I have German, but Betsy and Dad don't. So it's very interesting that even though we're siblings and he's our dad. And then I have 8% Irish and Scottish, like Betsy and Dad. And then finally, another thing I have that Dad and Betsy don't, that had to be for Mom, is I have 3% French.
That's awesome.
And 1% Jewish. So the things that set me up are my own unique things, I guess, or from Mom's side are the 9% German, the 3% French, because everything else I share with Betsy and Dad. But so as you'll see down on the bottom, I'm just going to tell you what they are in case you can't really see them that well. I have my Jewish star. And then I have a pretzel symbolizing Germany. And then the Eiffel Tower, which symbolizes France. And then Ray thought this was a sweet potato with growths coming out of it. But it's actually bagpipes. Oh. So it didn't come out of. And then I've got the 3-leaf clover. And then finally I have a teacup for England. So it looks like a coffee cup, or I don't even know what it looks like.
Ours are so similar, Katie.
Yes, so Betsy and I are similar.
Look at ours together.
Compare. So if you can zoom in on these versus me, or look at them versus me.
Yeah, I do. Do y'all see how similar those are?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as how how Katie and I thought about illustrating it. Neither one of us drew a map, and we both drew little things to go with. I just did mine laid out a little bit different, which shows that our brains work differently.
I'm
Right.
more of a list type person. Betsy does tend to be on the more creative side with things. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about the food. I ended up making au gratin potatoes because it's actually a French dish. So this is very typical in France to have au gratin potatoes. Now if you see au gratin potatoes with cheese, that's actually not common for France. It's more just the butter and the cream for the more French side. So there we go. I decided to try the au gratin potatoes.
Okay, awesome.
Try it out.
I am 43% Italian. Hey! So yeah, that's supposed to be the flag, which doesn't look like it. Those are pizza, 3D pizzas. That's Italy, although it looks like a dancing snake. That's the Colosseum, and then there's the Leaning Tower of Pisa there. So yeah, 43% Italian.
And tell us your other. That means that you got 57% of something else.
Yes, I do. I can tell you. England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, 42%. France, Ireland, Germanic European for 5%.
So Germany.
And then 2% Spain. Wow. I'm a Spaniard.
So what do you have? So what do you have for us today, Ray?
I made you homemade lasagna. Thought about it, Walmart. And it's got cheese and stuff in there.
Oh, it's got cheese. Oh,
Real love. I was
and
excited.
sauce.
So Isaac, would you like to give us your opinion?
Yes. So I've had shepherd's pie before. It does not taste like the ones that I've had before, but it is still very good. My favorite was probably the Irish Colcannon, just because of the potatoes. Just because of the potatoes and the cabbage went together really good. I couldn't really taste the cabbage, but it was still very good.
There was cabbage? I didn't know there was cabbage. Wow.
Yeah, there was cabbage.
Got the head of cabbage.
Wow. I had no
I
idea.
couldn't taste it.
Yeah, I couldn't either. It,
But
I think it made it more moist or something.
Yeah.
Boil
Very good.
the cabbage in it.
I think I'm gonna have to
2
take
cups
it.
of
yes.
water. Bring it to a boil. And then
I know,
with the
we're full.
cabbage in it. While it's boiling, when it boils, you drain the cabbage, but catch the water, the cabbage like water, and put it aside, and that's what you use to start the potatoes.
Oh, okay.
So you put it in the there, and then add water enough so the potatoes are underwater.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I think that maybe helps flavor it some too.
Girls, what did y'all think of y'all's very first bites of chocolate from your very first
Coconut.
Russell Stovers?
I haven't had a box of chocolate actually in my life, so it's pretty new, and these are really good. Thank you, Katie. I know some of you watch YouTube, and some of you do YouTube. But I love this. It has coconut in it. That's the white stuff. Melting because my fingers are hot. It is so good.
So is this our dessert then right here? This
Yeah, it's amazing.
this Russell Stovers chocolate from Valentine's.
This was an outstanding activity. The meal, the sharing of our ancestors. It hooked Mom. She wants to get a kit, so I guess she'll get one soon, so we can see what parts I get from her.
Go DNA!
Go DNA, that's good, I like that.
Thank you so much for watching today as we revealed our DNA results from our Ancestry DNA kits. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up and comment below. We would love to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. And don't forget to click the notification button so you can be updated on all of our new videos. And we will see you guys next week.